The morning began with the kind of silence that only the rich ever experience, a silence so comfortable, so insulated, that it made people forget the world outside even existed. Alina Varnett, one of the youngest self-made billionaires in the country, stepped out of the steaming shower of her penthouse suite, wrapped only in a towel she barely remembered to grab. Her mind was drowning in exhaustion, in numbers, in betrayals, in the kind of loneliness that echoed even in the most luxurious spaces. She thought she was alone. She always was. Until that moment, until she lifted her tired eyes and froze. Because standing at the doorway of her bedroom, holding a stack of documents he clearly wasn't prepared for, was a man whose wide, stunned eyes were already telling a story of their own. A single dad who had come for help and accidentally walked into a moment neither of them would ever forget. If you believe in kindness, healing, and unexpected second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Soul Tale. It means more than you know. Alina's heart pounded as she clutched the towel to her chest, breath catching in a panic she hadn't felt in years. She had faced corporate takeovers, lawsuits, and global boardrooms full of men who doubted her, but nothing compared to the vulnerability of this instant. It wasn't embarrassment that shook her, it was the shock of seeing someone in her private sanctuary. The suite was supposed to be empty. She had cleared the staff. No meetings. No visitors. She needed rest before a life-changing merger. But fate had its own plans. The man in her doorway was Daniel Cole, a hotel maintenance worker, part-time delivery driver, and full-time father. He had been told the suite was temporarily vacant, that he needed to deliver signed renovation documents. He had no idea he had just stepped into the orbit of a woman whose life was coming undone behind a flawless exterior. Alina saw the horror in his face. Not lust, not disrespect, just a decent man who wanted to run and disappear from his own mistake. Something in his expression disarmed her, softened her breath, made her forget to be angry. She watched him immediately turn around, stammering apologies, desperately shielding his eyes as he backed toward the hallway. And for the first time in years, someone wasn't pretending around her. No flattery, no calculated politeness, just raw human panic. And somehow, that chaotic little moment cracked something inside her. Later, after she got dressed and stepped into the living room, she found him still there, nervously clutching the papers he had almost dropped. He explained the misunderstanding with a trembling voice that revealed more about his life than he realized. The way he apologized for everything, the way he spoke too quickly, the way he kept mentioning needing to get back to his daughter. Alina had seen enough people to know when someone was fighting more battles than they admitted. She sensed the burden in his eyes, the exhaustion in his posture, the desperation of a man who had responsibilities heavier than his own life. She offered him water, and he accepted only because refusing seemed rude. As he stood there, uncomfortable in his faded uniform, Alina realized how rare it was for her penthouse to hold someone who wasn't dripping with wealth or power. Daniel seemed out of place, yet more real than anyone she had spoken to in months. He signed the documents with shaky hands, apologizing again. Alina gently told him it was okay, and something about her calmness made him finally breathe. Daniel's story unfolded not through bragging but through accidental slips between sentences. His wife had passed away 2 years earlier. His little girl, Lily, depended on him for everything. He was working 3 jobs, barely scraping by. Some nights, he didn't sleep at all. And his presence there that morning hadn't been just a routine drop. He had come in early because he needed to finish his shift before picking Lily up from school. Alina listened, truly listened, something she hadn't done with anyone in a long time. For days afterward, she couldn't get the moment out of her mind. Not the awkwardness, not the towel. No, it was the helplessness in Daniel's eyes, the heaviness of a man trying to survive quietly in a world that never softened for him. She found herself thinking about him when reviewing contracts, when riding in black SUVs, when sitting in meetings surrounded by people who only cared about her money. She wondered how many people like him were invisible to the world she lived in, and how many times she had been blind to the struggles happening right beneath her. One afternoon, while stepping out of her office building, she spotted a familiar figure on the sidewalk. Daniel was holding Lily's hand, trying to hide the worry in his voice as he received a phone call that looked like another weight dropping onto his shoulders. Lily's backpack strap was tearing. Her shoes looked old. Her eyes, though bright, carried a kind of silence children shouldn't know. Alina approached them gently, not wanting to startle them. When Lily recognized Alina from the hotel, she smiled shyly and waved. Daniel apologized again, this time for Lily's excitement, and Alina realized he had built his entire personality around saying sorry for existing. Their second meeting changed everything. Alina invited Lily for an ice cream, and Daniel reluctantly agreed. Lily, starved for moments of joy, laughed more in 15 minutes than Alina had laughed in months. Watching them made something inside Alina ache, not for motherhood, not for romance, but for connection, for meaning, for real life. Because when Lily spilled ice cream on her shirt and giggled instead of crying, Alina realized that the warmth of that tiny moment felt more valuable than every business deal she had ever won. From that day on, their lives tangled in ways none of them saw coming. Alina began helping quietly, sponsoring Lily's school anonymously, giving Daniel extra shifts that paid more, ensuring he didn't drown under bills. She never made him feel small, never let him know she was behind the miracles arriving at his door. And Daniel, in return, unknowingly gave Alina something she had been starved of for years: humanity. His honesty became her refuge. His resilience became her reminder. His daughter became the small spark she didn't know she needed. But everything changed the day Daniel discovered the truth. He found out that the anonymous donor paying for Lily's school lunches was Alina, that the mysterious rent reduction, the hospital bill waiver, the grocery card on his doorstep, they all led back to her. And he wasn't angry, he was broken, because he had never wanted charity. He wanted dignity. He wanted to stand on his own feet. Alina panicked, thinking she had ruined everything. But when he showed up at her office, holding Lily's hand, his voice didn't carry pride or shame, it carried tears. He told her no one in years had cared about him without wanting something in return. No one had seen him as a human being. No one had believed in him. And Alina realized that what she had been searching for wasn't gratitude, it was purpose. And Daniel realized what he had been searching for wasn't help, it was someone who didn't walk away. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Soul Tale. Your support keeps these stories alive. Before the story ends, tell us in the comments, what would you do if life gave you an unexpected second chance with a stranger? In the end, Alina didn't save Daniel, and Daniel didn't save Alina. They saved each other in the quietest, simplest, most human way possible, by showing up, by caring, by choosing kindness over walls. And sometimes that is how futures begin, not with grand moments, but with accidents, misunderstandings, and a towel-wrapped morning that changed two lives forever.